Football Friday, let's play a game we call Reading Between the Lines with our betting expert Joe Fortenbaugh. We look at some of the more interesting lines like this one. Monday night, the Eagles are 1.5-point dog against Green Bay. That line actually moved a point in Philly's favor since yesterday. Still, it'll be the first time they're underdogs this season. So I think there'll be people who will sit back and they will say, how are the Eagles, who just made all these great moves and have the defending Super Bowl champs, an underdog against a team that just lost at home to Carolina?
It might seem counterintuitive, but the fact that they're 1.5-point dogs on the road against Green Bay actually tells you they're the better team in the power rankings. You move that to a neutral site. It's all about home field for Green Bay here. Green Bay's a good football team. But ultimately, here you go, Philadelphia coming in with the old push-push revenge from the Packers snitching them out last year. You know what you do? Push-push first play of the game.
Set the tone.
Yeah.
Set the
Put it
tone.
on. Put it on.
Sure, America will rejoice. They love that play.
Why do I feel like you guys would like that?
I would love that. Actually, I think anything petty is good. Yes. Right? So if you show up to the game and you do it the first two plays, or you do it like if you got 2nd and 2, you do it on 2nd down and 3rd down, and if you don't get it, you do it on 4th down. Yeah. It's like, hey, go back to the NFL and get them to take it out now.
Right. Well, if you enjoy petty, may I interest you in an A.J. Brown soundbite? Because that's where we're going next. The enigmatic superstar wide receiver was asked about his status for Monday night and beyond. Just listen closely to this.
I'm fine. I'm good to go.
Is this a place you want to be?
Well, has I said anything to not be here or something like that?
What do we take away from that?
That Devontae Smith knew the right answer, and A.J. Brown refused to say it. Right? He didn't have to say a lot. You could have said, yes, this is where I want to be the rest of my career, whether it's true or not, because it's where your feet are now. But he's just in this place where there's this touch of defiance, right? There's this part of him that just won't do the right thing. There is an unhappiness that seems to underlie anything that he's asked or anything that he says, because we all know that sometimes you just toe the company line so you can get along and go win football games, and he just refused to do that.
That's boring, man. Listen, he can't get right off life, man. Like, he know what he's supposed to say.
But that was my ball head, man.
Yeah. I don't know what's wrong. Something wrong with his head or something. He can't get right. Listen, he know what he's supposed to say, but at this point, I think he's just trolling us, right? And he doesn't want to give the reporters there what they want. So he's giving them juice. He's giving them controversy. He's giving them uncertainty. He wants to be there. Where else would he want to be? He's won a Super Bowl. He's got paid the bag. It's nothing for him to be upset about other than reading a book on the side.
I remember I was covering the Super Bowl in 2012, so that dates me a little bit, but Marshawn wasn't talking. Michael Robinson, his fullback, would say, all questions come to me, and it became almost like a comedy act, like we're having fun with this. But Marshawn didn't want to speak to the media.
Right.
A.J. Brown does not want to speak to the media right now. He's seen his name being dragged in the mud a million times away. I don't even want to pay attention to this, but I will do it if I have to. To that point, being at his locker, asking him that question, it's like, all right, well, this is what's going to happen if you're going to beat us again.
Well, you guys are players, and so I'm just curious. I've had it suggested here that the Eagles are a team that kind of thrive on the drama.
Yes.
But there are some teams that are broken apart by the drama. It takes them apart. It becomes the dreaded quote-unquote distraction. And that some teams kind of thrive on a little bit of this. I'm not sure if
us against the world.
The right
Us against the world.
It's like we love the hate. We thrive off the hate. We make up things to be upset about. We create that.
But isn't he the one who's upset?
But this ain't even nothing to be upset about. Like, this isn't the world being upset with the Philadelphia Eagles. This isn't the world creating some narrative that doesn't exist. This is him.
Right.
And I like A.J. Brown. I think he's mature. I think he has great awareness. And because I believe those things, I know that he knows exactly what's going on. And it's not one of those things where they have to galvanize the team around A.J. so they can go win football games.
Right.
They have a quarterback that would thrive in anything because he never changes. He never gets too high. He never gets too low. And you got a coach in Nick Sirianni, and I'm sure y'all could speak to this, that can flat out coach, and we never talk about how good he is. And so to me, the Philadelphia Eagles don't need distractions to be good. They need everybody to understand what that playbook says and execute.
Let me ask you another question. I've had it suggested that perhaps after all of the wear and tear that, I think Bart, you may have said this early in the season, after all of the wear and tear of a 2,000-yard season on Saquon Barkley last year, that there has been a concerted effort on their part to ease him back into this season slowly and then ramp it up as we start to get toward the more meaningful part of the season.
We'll see.
You have a sense of that?
Well, we'll see. They're coming off a 10-day rest right now. They get obviously the Monday night game, and Saquon does not have the same numbers, same carries, or that. Hopefully from this Kevin Patullo offense is that they're not predictable. So 2 games ago, Jalen Hurts threw for 330 yards. The last time we saw them, Saquon ran for 234 yards. So we come out of the bye. We don't know what they are, and I would imagine Saquon healthy, going to play, is going to get a lot more love in the offense.
The best thing that could have happened for Philadelphia is the rest of the division failing to show up this year. Because now they have time to sit there, figure these things out. Maybe we want to go to AJ. Maybe we don't. Maybe we want to go to Saquon. Doesn't matter. Washington's not pushing them. Dallas isn't pushing them. The Giants aren't pushing them. They're in the driver's seat, and they're comfortable right now.
All I'm saying is this, Rico Dowdle, right? If you watch that film last week of the Green Bay Packers and you say to yourself, how do I neutralize Micah Parsons? Run the football. How do we keep this offense off the field? Run the football. And if you have to start stacking that box to stop Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts has shown you over the last few weeks he can absolutely carve you up.
Well, I want you guys on Monday nights, and before you do the Himmies, Scott Van Pelt every once in a while has to, quote, save the graphic. I go the other way. I just pick against what everyone else thinks. As you can see, it's very obvious. The whole world likes the Eagles here. That feels like a lock for the Packers. Let's continue with that thought, reading between the lines. You mentioned these really good games in the NFC West, including the Rams, a 4.5-point road favorite against the 49ers. Rams have won 7 straight as road favorites dating back to last year. Remember, these teams played a thriller earlier this year. The Rams were an 8.5-point favorite at home. The Niners won that game in overtime. It was that crazy Thursday night game. What are the people who know what they're talking about like here?
A lot of money on the Rams here. Opened as a 3-point favorite, got bet up to 4.5 for a few key reasons. Number one, the Rams are held in high regard by the bookmakers. The only team in the NFL that ranks top 6 in both offensive and defensive EPA. They bring a lot of balance to the table. Number 2, the Niners and the injuries. They're banged up on both sides of the ball. That defense's pass rush is non-existent to all the injuries. Stafford should have a field day. And number 3, there is the revenge angle that some lead into. You go back a few weeks ago to that game. You got to put it on him at some point. I can see the Rams really opening it up here.
Brian Clark, I'm going to ask you a question because I feel like it's been suggested here a little bit. Are the Los Angeles Rams, when push comes to shove, the best team in the NFL?
No, and Bart's over here shaking his head.
I thought I was the hater. Now you hate.
Making those
He's got his
faces.
resting linebacker face.
You know what? It's much like Peter mentioned about teams winning games against the lower level teams in this league. We're going to learn a lot about the Los Angeles Rams in the next few weeks. The NFC West is such a tough division. They're going to see the 49ers. They're going to see the Seahawks. They're going to get opportunities to play in these huge games. You think back to the biggest game they've had this season, it was against the Philadelphia Eagles, which they dominated for most of it and couldn't find a way to finish it. Matthew Stafford is playing at an MVP level, maybe better than I've ever seen him play.
37 years old.
Yeah, they're going to get an opportunity down this stretch, but at this point, to me, the championship still runs through Philadelphia.
Can I also add on this weekend in particular, and I would look at it this way. If you look at the 49ers roster in the preseason, their 3rd game, that's their defense this week with all the injuries they've had. So I would almost say, yes, there's this rivalry game, but I wouldn't get too inflated about the Rams if they beat this version of the 49ers. It is not the version that we saw a couple weeks ago.
I walk by faith, not by sight sometimes. Listen, I believe in my heart that, Matthew Stafford is the best quarterback in the NFL. If I need to trust somebody to win me one game, it's going to be Matthew Stafford. And now he's starting to get that chemistry with Devontae Adams. They're starting to have that nonverbal communication, leading the league like 2-point touchdown passes. And now with him and Puka Nacua, I think that gives them such a dynamic team. They're the most balanced team in the NFL. When you talk about who do I trust defensively and offensively, I think it's the Los Angeles Rams.
You can't love the Colts and then not like the Rams, because the Rams did beat that team. So if you're high on the Colts this year, that's a marquee win for the Rams.
You know what else? You're talking about, this is the guy I trust the most. You know who he ain't beat the last 2 times he played him? Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, but that don't mean he shouldn't have. It don't always end that way. You should know that from me personally.
Can I ask one other slightly unrelated question? Because it came up here yesterday, and I feel like it's something worth watching. Is it possible that the 49ers are at some point going to decide they want Mac Jones to be their quarterback? And if they start heading in that direction,
save some money.
What happens?
If they win this weekend, they're suddenly 7-3, and Mac Jones has this. I don't know a world where Kyle Shanahan just says, "Well, it's Brock's thing." So it's a very interesting conversation. What I would note is this: Brock Purdy is injured. Like, that is a real injury.
Sure. How
so, well, that's fair to ask.
Can play injured or just
the other wrinkle to it is I've covered Kyle since he was in Houston and Cleveland. This isn't someone who's obsessed with how much are we paying this person or what do we do. The best quarterback for this team will play.
Peter, can I ask you a question? You report and you talk to these teams. How much truth was there to the rumors about Mac Jones being someone they liked during the draft where they drafted Trey Lance?
That's very real, and it was both he and his father both had an eye on him, and at the end of the day, Trey Lance's athleticism blew them away in a workout up in North Dakota.
Yeah.
This might be the guy he's pondered and wanted for all along.
So who can you find?
That's the thing.
Who can you find to be the sucker to take that massive contract? Because we don't know if Brock Purdy can play outside of that system. We have the same questions about Brock Purdy that we have about Joe Burrow, because we've seen Joe Flacco come in at 40 years old and put
I'm not questioning Joe Burrow at all. Who's questioning Joe Burrow?
Not. No.
Joe Burrow was the first overall pick.
What I'm saying is we see a 40-year-old former Raven putting up same numbers, and Joe Burrow is worth like $200 more million.
Hey, you feel all this? All that hate in your heart? That's because he didn't play like that when he played us in the playoffs.
Guess what? Guess what?
That's the problem.
Guess what? It's an ice box where my heart used to be.
Don't tell Marion. All right.
Anh đi con ngon à?